Logan, the other thing that you brought up, and I'm not trying to actually belabor the point that you're saying, oh, like, let's get the East West to matter. I'm just, since you brought up more games and expansion, there's been a little bit of some rumor mill going around.
Oh, yes.
As far as WNBA expansion. First of all, Commissioner Engelbert happened to address expansion on multiple fronts this season. Bringing it up, especially there towards the during the actual like WNBA playoffs and finals, and even during All-Star, she brought up, yes, we're looking into expansion. Yeah, we want to make sure it's a good fit. We can't do it too fast. We got to make sure that there's the support structures there. And probably there was probably the biggest news as far as potential expansion. It really comes from Elena Beard and a group that she has put together for a possible team in Oakland. And she was very specific to say, not the Bay Area, not San Francisco, Oakland, like the city of Oakland. So I'm pretty excited. I think that would be a fantastic market for the WNBA to expand into. I think that it would automatically create some inherent rivalries with, say, like the Sparks. To have a team like Oakland and LA, they could be kind of a cool, in-state rivalry there, kind of that Bay Area and Southern California, clash. I know that works out in a lot of other sports as well. I'm excited about that potential, and what that could mean for the league to expand into that market. That's a huge market that is untouched right now by the league. That I think, and it's an area and a demographic that I think would really welcome with open arms a WNBA franchise. So, yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts were when that news broke.
Yeah, two things seem obvious to me. One is that Oakland is dying for a sports team.
Yes.
Obviously, being a sports fan in California, like, you have lots of options, and I understand that. But, they lost the Raiders, which is a big deal. The A's are kind of perpetually looking to move. I think they really badly, they kind of remind me of San Diego in the sense that San Diego lost the Chargers, and I feel like I'm forgetting one, but like things were leaving San Diego. And then like the Padres were good for like the first little sliver of this last baseball season. And the whole city just rallied around because they were just like, we don't have anything else. Like we're all in on this Padres team now that's been miserable for 20 years because this is our only like real team, like our source of pride. And so I think Oakland is a really smart opportunity business-wise for the WNBA. Obviously, a great basketball area of the country. For that reason, because I think they're starving for a team that's like their local team that they can get on board with. Obviously, the Sparks will instantly hate them.
Yes.
Like before they even announce what players are going to that team, they will hate them like blood rivals, which is fun. The second thing I think is obvious is that expansion is inevitable, but it's better to err on the side of doing it a year late than a year early.
Agreed.
And I think Kathy Engelbert recognizes like it's better to be at like full saturation with our current markets before we like spill over, like overflow into another market than go too early and kind of delay the the momentum the league has been building over the last, I'm going to say 5 years, because that's how long we've been doing the show. So that's how much I really can recognize. Like I know we're still fighting for better media coverage and all sorts of things that need to be fought, and that's all valid, but it's improved drastically, especially under Kathy Engelbert's leadership. And I don't want them to put a hiccup in the middle of that momentum by trying to spread into different markets and cities too early and maybe thinning out the talent of the league too much and causing there to be, games that don't matter. Like I don't want to see 120 to 60 blowouts because some teams are stacked with 4 all-stars and other teams have nothing, right? Like I think we're getting to the point where every year there's players on benches or not making teams that make Twitter wonder how are they not on a team? Like we need more spots.
How is that person not good enough to be in the league?
But like it's a careful balance, and I think Kathy's I trust her to do it the right way. But it seems inevitable that it will happen. It's obviously in their 5-year plan somewhere. It's just, I'm sure they're looking at a lot of numbers to make sure that it's not going to, sidetrack, because they basically have to get everything right. It's one of the unfair things about being a female professional league in this country. Yes. Is one wrong move, and instantly the only thing people will cover about the league is that they opened a team in Oakland and then it folded.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only thing people will pay attention to. And so they really can't afford to have that happen. So they have to be more cautious than maybe other leagues would be.
What's sad about this next bit is that there's people who've been clamoring for a Toronto franchise for literally years now, and have actually put in some legwork. We know that there's some grassroots movements already that have been there for a few years to potentially bring a WNBA franchise to Toronto. Pro-con here. Pro, one of the most popular musicians in all of the world, tweeted about it and said, so Drake tweets out, yo, at WNBA, we need a team in Toronto. If he's down to be a part of bringing it there, awesome. So the pro is, it got eyes on this potential thing that's happening. The con is that if it happens, now he gets a lot of the credit, whereas there's been a lot of people I know working really hard and trying to make this actually happen. Do you think that there are some legitimate legs to a Toronto franchise within the next decade or so?
Toronto's an awesome sports city. They're an awesome basketball city. They're a city that's outfitted to almost immediately host like an all-star game or a finals or some a Commissioner's Cup, something like that. They're a city I would personally love to go to if that sort of thing ever happened. The Toronto Six is my women's hockey team. They that has nothing to do with it, but just the fact that there already exists like female athletes in the city are already kind of trying to make this movement happen. Not that there aren't, an equal amount going on in other cities in the US. Like, I know college sports is a big, obviously like a big segue into professional sports.
Right.
So
that's why we have Connecticut Sun, right?
Right. That's why Connecticut has a team. But I think Toronto is a very natural market to want to break into. I think it makes a lot of business sense. I would honestly love to see it. They might be my number one on my list, even above the Oakland group in terms of where I would most want to see a team.
Agreed. I would love to see a team come into Toronto. They're probably, I'm with you. They're probably at the top of my list as far as like, if I could get that. I mean, obviously selfishly, I'd love to get a pro team back here in Utah. That would make covering the league a lot easier if it was just an hour away. However, outside of that, as far as like places that I think should legitimately get one first, Toronto's right at the top of that list. And so I'm with you on that one.